Just do an audio test right now.
Hello, testing 1 2 3 1 2. It's been 45 years since I first said, yeah! And here
That's
we are.
awesome. So today we're going to be interviewing John Schneider. This is going to be really, really cool. I'm very excited myself. Right now it is 2:53. John's going to be coming on around 3 o'clock. So this is going to be awesome. I can't wait. I got a lot of questions for him. I'm going to see how much time he has, and we'll go from there. See how much I could ask. Be sure to leave a like and also subscribe to the YouTube channel for more stuff like this. And hey, go check out chunkymonkey40.com. Get yourself some awesome Dukes of Hazzard merchandise. We got koozies, we got Orange Cars Matter stickers, and Stay Rebel shirts. Stay Rebel, everybody. That's what I'm talking about. And we got Web Western. Web Western is a company that I'm a brand ambassador for. If you guys would like to go check out their stuff, my brand ambassador link is linked down below in the description. But hey, we're getting to talk to Bo Duke today, y'all. This is going to be crazy. First of all, I'd like to say I'm so sorry to hear about Alicia, John.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's been hard. I mean, I wouldn't wish losing a spouse on my worst enemy. I truly wouldn't. It's hard, but as they say, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And there was a lot of this year that I was hoping it would kill me, honestly. But now, not coming through it, I don't think you get over grief. But I think what happens is, kind of like in the gym, the 45-pound plates are always 45 pounds. You just get more
stronger.
able to move them around. You get stronger. Some wise person said to me early on that grief has 3 stages: the beginning, the middle, and the rest of your life. And I can agree with that. But the great thing, Chunky, the great thing is that I do believe that your heart expands to hold more love. I'm going to sound like Uncle Jesse here, but your heart will expand to hold more love, which means that the love you have for the person or persons that you have, I will say, went on before you. I hate the word lost because I know where she is. I know exactly where she is.
Yep. You'll see her again.
I'll see her again. Absolutely. And she'll say, wasn't that some shit? That's what she's going to say.
Yeah.
She's going to say, my God, yeah.
Wasn't that some shit?
Yeah, but I do believe that your heart expands to hold more love. Otherwise you wind up that recluse at the end of the street that's got 47 cats that yells at children all day, and I'm not going to be that. I refuse. I refuse to be that guy. Everything I do to try to honor Alicia, and so far I think so good. There are some who will disagree with that. But you know what? I don't care.
I think you're doing good, and you seem to be in higher spirits, and I really like to see that. Speaking of higher spirits, today is a very special day. It's been 45 years. 45 is a great number, since the pilot episode of the Dukes of Hazzard, One Armed Bandits, aired. How does that make you feel?
It makes me feel really good. But by the way, I have to clarify something. There was no pilot episode of the Dukes of Hazzard. CBS ordered 5 episodes. One Armed Bandits, Daisy's Song, Mary Kay's Baby, High Octane, and Repo Men. I might have gotten the last 2 in the wrong order. But CBS ordered 5 shows, so there really wasn't a pilot. A pilot indicates that there was some test, and then they'd see. So it's really pretty amazing, knowing what I know about television and how shows are ordered now and how they were ordered then. It's amazing that they actually agreed to pay for 5, because that was expensive. I mean, we were jumping cars and we were in Georgia. It was an expensive show. In fact, when we came back to California, I think in '79, I think Dukes of Hazzard was the most expensive show ever on television. We were like $1.3 million an episode. Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah.
But it's amazing that they ordered all 5 of those shows, which I think is really a testimony to the power of Guy Waldron and Bob Clark, who created the show, but also to Waylon Jennings, who was the balladeer. Obviously, he told the story of Bo and Luke and Daisy and Uncle Jesse and the gang. But at that time, he had just had the first million shipping country music album, which was called I've Always Been Crazy. Yeah, right before Dukes.
Wow.
So when Waylon signed on, Waylon was the biggest music star in the world. And I think that might be why CBS went ahead and paid for 5. Now, Guy Waldron and Bob Clark might have said, Waylon is not going to do just one show. We got to do more than that. So I'm not really sure the circumstances under which they ordered 5, but they did, and I'm so glad, because when One Armed Bandits came out, I think the first night, I think we were in the top 20.
Wow.
Like 16 or 17. And then the following week we're in the top 10. And then the following week we're in the top 5. And we never got out of the top 5 until Coy and Vance showed up. But it wasn't their fault. It wasn't their fault.
Nope, it was those crooks at Warner Bros.
Well, it wasn't even their fault. They were operating under accounting practices that were there long before they were, because the folks who were the head of the business affairs at Warner Brothers were very, very good friends of mine. And it's just, you learn a lot. You learn a lot.
You live and you learn. Amen to that. So,
hopefully you learn.
What were your thoughts going into the show? Did you think it would gain the level of popularity that it has and still be relevant 45 years later?
I didn't think I would be relevant or breathing 45 years later. I was 18 years old. What the hell did I know? I didn't know anything.
And speaking of that, when you had auditioned for the role of Bo Duke, you told the casting directors that you were 21 and from Georgia.
24, actually, because they were looking for people 24 to 30, and I was 18, and they were looking for people from rural Georgia, grew up on a farm or what have you. And I'm from Westchester County, New York, the same county that George Soros, gosh, I got to wash my mouth out that I said that name, but the very place that George Soros is an implant to, right? So I'm from Mount Kisco, New York, Westchester County, New York. There is no more snooty, more highbrow, more wonderful place, really, in the country than Westchester County, New York. And I was 18 years old. So I went in and I told them that I was 24 from Snailville, Georgia, because I never would have gotten in. I never would have had the audition to begin with.
When did it come out that you were actually 18 and from New York, like to all the cast and the crew and all that? When did that actually come out?
I think after we got to California, which would have been the middle of January '79, somewhere in there. Oh, I remember, because I was not a member of the Screen Actors Guild. So I had already done 5 episodes of a network television show, which obviously was a SAG show, but I was not a member of SAG. But in 1978, in order to join SAG, you had to have so many hours of experience, which I did. But you also had to have $1,500, which I did not have. I mean, in 1978, $1,500 would have more than paid off my car.
Back then, the money went far.
Yeah, exactly. Back before this administration, money went far. But when I had to join SAG, that's when everybody found out. And truthfully, they didn't care at that point. I mean, it is called acting. It's not called being. Nobody cared. But I'm still shocked when people say, "Oh, I knew it was you as soon as I heard your voice." Well, I don't have a Southern accent. On Dukes of Hazzard. Dukes of Hazzard, I did. I mean, I talk like that on Dukes.
You played the part well. And so following
the
success of the Dukes of Hazzard, what sort of opportunities did the show open up for you in both your acting career and your music career?
Musically, people were interested in what I wanted to do, because really I consider myself a singer who acts, not an actor who sings. Mm-hmm. So I had done 10 years, even though I was only 18, I had done 10 years of musical theater before Dukes of Hazzard. So there were people that wanted to hear me. So I sang on the Dinah Shore Show and the Merv Griffin Show and the Mike Douglas Show and People's Choice Awards and the Academy Awards and blah, 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 blah. But those are the only doors that had opened up, because record labels realized, oh, we don't care if this guy can sing or not. We'll just, we'll sell records because people want the picture on the front, like the Tiger Beat magazine stuff. Well, guess what? I can sing. So when the first single came out, which was It's Now or Never, an Elvis Presley cover, it is still the highest charting Elvis Presley cover of all time. Got to number 4 in Billboard and R&R. So I'm very proud of that. But in the other world, in the television world, I did a couple of movies for television, which were great. They were a lot of fun. But everybody kind of thought I was this country bumpkin hick who just fell off a turnip truck and really didn't see any skill there. Tell it like it is. So no one was coming after anyone on the Dukes of Hazzard, even though we were a top 5 and very often a number 1 show, for anything else.
Wow.
They didn't care for us. They were Even CBS, I don't think really cared for us, even
Hollywood,
though we made them incredible amounts of money.
Hollywood back in the day was the same as they are now. They weren't really all that fond of country folk now, were they?
No, they don't. They call us the flyover states, for crying out
Hmm.
loud. There was a fair amount of embarrassment, I think, for many of the hoity-toity executives that they were involved in the Dukes of Hazzard. They'd be at a party and people say, "Oh, what show do you do?" They go, "Oh, I do Dukes of Hazzard."
Huh.
People were all into all these highbrow Hill Street Blues,
Yeah.
all these shows that nobody today they don't even know those names. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I
Right.
don't think there's events about those shows nowadays, and there's a cult followings like the Dukes of Hazzard has.
Oh my gosh, everywhere I go, there are still brand new 4 and 5 year olds who love the Dukes of Hazzard today, 45 years later. So there's something about that show, and I think certainly it has to do with the cars and the look of it and all that. But it has to do with the integrity of the family, the value we had for family and friendship, the loyalty we had, even with the bad guys.
Mhm.
If Boss Hogg brought some really bad guys in and they actually pulled a gun and tried to shoot us, he was like, "Oh no, 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 we don't do that here."
And one of my
So
favorite things to reference with in regards to that is the episode when I forget exactly what it was, but it was the gold plates for printing money, and
right,
Roscoe pleaded for Boss Hogg's life to Bo and Luke, and you guys were jumped right up, got in the general, and went and saved his
yeah,
life.
yep,
That right
we
there
did.
shows to me exactly what the true message and the heart of the Dukes of Hazzard is in the end of the day, you do what's right.
Yes, and at the end of the day, when you live in what the narcissistic folks call the flyover states, you understand the importance of friendship. You understand the importance of community. So, yes, Enos was a deputy sheriff, but he was our friend. Yes, Cooter was crazy, and crazy Cooter was living in a car in the junkyard. But he was our friend. If we needed him, he was a CB call away. If he needed us, we were a CB call away. Night, day, anytime did not matter. Friendship, loyalty was more important than whatever it was we had going on. And that is a message that will play wherever you happen to be, except maybe in a high rise in the middle of Manhattan. People there, they don't even know they don't know the people who live next door, let
Yeah.
alone next door, and they share a common wall.
Everybody's
Um,
just so focused into just look right here nowadays. That's it.
well, yeah, that's that, and it's we live in a myopic society. We have for quite some time, or pardon me, they do, because those of us who live, I'm in Louisiana right now. Those of us who live on a dirt road, we don't feel that way. We understand that we carry an extra gallon of gas, not in case we run out, but in case you do.
Yep.
We get that. And Dukes of Hazzard got that more than any other show ever. So I'm very, very proud to still be a part of what I believe when all the smoke clears, I think Dukes of Hazzard will be the single most popular television show of all time.
I agree. So the cast consisted of several Hollywood greats, guys like Sorrel Look,
Yes.
Denver Pyle, James Best, and several legendary country stars also made cameos on the show, such as
Yep.
Waylon Jennings, Loretta Lynn. Of all the folks you worked with on the Dukes, who gave you some of the best advice and inspiration that you still hold dear to you today?
Denver Pyle.
I figured.
My Uncle Jesse. My Uncle Jesse. My goodness. I thought about him today because there's on this grief trail that I'm on. If you find someone who makes you laugh when you feel like I have this last year, hang on to them, grab them with both hands, because laughter, Denver Pyle told me, he would say, "Hey, John, you're saving your money." And I'd go, "Well, not really." He'd say, "Okay." He'd say, "You got a new car?" I'd say, "Yep, yep," which I always did. And then he'd say, "You got a new girl?" And I'd say, "As a matter of fact, I do." And he would say, "Does she make you laugh?" And if I had to think about it, he'd say, "Good luck to you. Good luck to you." As far as Denver was concerned, the single most important thing that anyone can do for you is make you laugh. And
Make you
so I think about
smile.
Denver all the time, and smile. Well, of course, smile. My bride Alicia. It was my mother who gave Alicia the nickname "Your Smile," because she said, "It's great to see my son finally has his smile back."
That's awesome.
So yeah, so it was mom that did that. Mom that did that. That's very important. Very, very important. I don't know if you read my Facebook posts in the morning,
Oh
but
yes, every day.
it's
Every day,
it's
it's
really
always the
important.
first thing that pops up.
Oh, that's great. Thank you. And by
It's
the way, Sorrel Book, Boss Hogg, was from Buffalo, New York. Okay. He was even less country than I am.
kind of makes sense why I wore the white suit and was afraid of mud.
Yeah, yep. He was so great. Sorrel was wonderful.
Never met a hog that.
I urge the folks who are watching this, look up Sorrel Book, look up and see how many things he did before he did the Dukes of Hazzard. And everybody knew and loved Boss Hogg, but look him up. Look up Denver Pyle.
Yes.
Look up James Best.
Ooh,
My God, look
yes.
up James Best. You'll see stuff you just won't believe.
Oh, some of his
Fantastic.
stuff that he did in the past is just phenomenal. I mean, the movies
Yep.
he's been in and everything. So we were just talking about Alicia, and so I'd like to bring up, and we were talking a little bit about singing. So you were recently unveiled as the donut on The Masked Singer, and by the way, I knew it was you the whole time, man.
Oh, you know what I sound like.
Yes.
You know what I sound like.
I've heard
Oh,
you
that's
a time
great.
or two. What was it like being on that show, and like how did it come about?
Well, they just called, and it was a show that Alicia had wanted me to do. She's the one that got me involved in Dancing with the Stars. So one morning, she tapped me on the shoulder. We were sleeping, and she said, "Hey, baby." I said, "What?" And she said, "You're doing Dancing with the Stars. Go back to sleep." I'm like, "What?" So down the road, after February 21st, which was the day that Alicia passed away, so I'm coming up on the anniversary. The opportunity came. Somebody called my agent and said, "Hey, we'd love for John to do love for John to do The Masked Singer." So I looked at the show and I thought, well, this looks like a lot of fun. So I said I'd do it, and I'm so glad I did. It really truly was a lot of fun, and it was a great opportunity for me to talk to even as the donut. I got to talk to a lot of people who are on this road of grief. Because nobody is prepared for it.
Yeah.
No, there's no class. There's nothing you can do, and so I believe that people who are on that road need an advocate. So that's what the donut was, and it was great. I got to sing some of the greatest songs. I mean, my gosh.
Oh yeah. Drift
Drift
Away,
Away.
Gray, which by the way, I was listening to Waylon Jennings' version. That
Oh,
was
yeah.
one of his favorite songs.
One of the last songs he sang live.
Yes,
Yeah,
it was.
yeah.
Was that sort of
But I'll
part of
tell
the
you,
reason
my favorite,
chose it?
no, not because of Waylon. I just have always loved that song.
That's a great song.
But my favorite on that show was "You Are So Beautiful," because I was actually a little scared to do that, because once Joe Cocker sings something, it's done. Stick a fork in it, it's done. Same thing with Dobie Gray. But something came out of me doing that song on The Masked Singer that I didn't know was in there, and I think I honestly took that song away from Joe Cocker that night. I really do. Even though I was dressed like a stack of donuts.
Did they let you keep the suit?
No. What am I going to do with it? Where am I going to put it? That thing was huge.
I know it was, but that would have
There's
been
no
so
way.
funny if, like, middle of the next Bose extravaganza, just the donuts, the centerpiece.
That's a little scary. That thing's a little scary.
Put a little animatronic in it and have it walking.
No, put some other poor sap in it and have him walk around. That was a hard costume to put on every night. Well, a couple times a day, actually.
Yeah, I bet it was.
But it was great fun. The people were great. Nobody on the show knows anybody on the show, so they keep you hidden. They keep you hidden from each other. So it really was kind of amazing how they managed to do that. But they did a great job. The sound folks were great, because you're singing through one of these kind of mics, holding a phony mic, but singing through this mic. So all the singing is live.
Yeah.
The show does not air live, but the contest itself is live. So they did a wonderful job. My hat's off. My donut hat is off to them.
And so, I just brought up Bose Extravaganza. So I'm going to talk in this video a little bit about, the events of, the history of the events and when they started. Do you really remember when the Dukes events sort of started and really started to take off?
Yeah, the very first Duke Fest was Ben Jones had it in Sperryville, Virginia. Yep. Kind of a wide spot in the road. And I don't know if I went to the first one. I'm not sure. But I was wearing my coat from Night of the Twisters. I remember that because I've seen pictures. So it was a long time ago. So Ben did it at Sperryville for a while, and then he moved it to the Nashville Speedway, and then he moved it to Bristol, and then I took it and I moved it to the Atlanta Motor Speedway, and then I think Ben, he's got all these stores. He started doing it in different places. But then Alicia and I started to do, it wasn't Duke's Fest, it was Bo's Extravaganza. So we did Bo's Extravaganza here at the studio, and I believe we did 5 of them.
Yep.
They're in April for my birthday. Honestly, I'm not sure that I'm going to do it again this year. This year has been it's been a rough year, and I'm not quite certain that I'm ready to do that because it's a pretty big undertaking to get that event going. But while we did it here, we had Kix Brooks, we had the Bellamy Brothers, we had Kid Rock. I mean, we did a lot. I know, I see. Yep. We did a lot of great stuff here. Of course, my band played every year. We had a really big time. We jumped cars. We did Stand On It, the movie.
Yes,
we did Poker Run, the movie.
You made your
did all of that stuff.
Debut.
Well, my jumping debut anyway.
Yes,
yeah,
very true.
Yeah, my jumping debut.
What made
that
you
was in?
that?
I wanted to do it always, but studios wouldn't let me. I'm the only one dumb enough to let me jump a car.
And Jamie Smith built it for you, correct?
He did. He built the General Lee. But for Stand On It and Poker Run, my father-in-law and I cut the T-tops. Actually, he cut the T-tops in the first Challenger for Stand On It. And then a buddy of mine, Kevin Waltman, built the car for Poker Run, which is a really nice one. Beautiful car. So I have those 2 cars still. And my plan is to do Double or Nothing this year. Just got the jump car fixed again so I can jump it one more time.
Ooh,
one more time. My plan is to do that either here at Bo's Extravaganza or do it at the Nashville Motor Speedway where we did Duke's Fest.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, but I'll hit the ramp around 80 miles an hour this time and see what happens.
There you go. Just send it. That'd be awesome.
Yep. Well, I'm going to bring it with me. It's going to bring me with it. I don't know. Yeah, folks, this is not like slingshotting cars. This is me in the seat, strapped in, driving it, hitting a ramp, and hoping for the best.
You directed the finale of the Dukes of Hazzard, opening night at the Boar's Nest.
I did, and I wrote it too.
You wrote it as well?
Yeah, I wrote it. Yeah, I wrote it. Wow. It was amazing. I wrote that episode, and I happened to be at a men's store somewhere in Los Angeles, and I needed a 7'2", 7 plus black actor to be in this show. And I looked across the way, I'm looking at shirts, and I looked up, it's like, oh my God. So I saw this gentleman, and I said, I've got trouble finding shirts to fit, and how in the world do you? And he was like, oh my God, you're John Schneider. You're from the Dukes of Hazzard.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I said, I am. I said, and I want you to come audition for a role because you're perfect. Are you an actor? And he said, no, I'm a stand-up comedian. Okay. And Kevin Peter Hall was his name. He went on after that episode of Dukes to be Harry in Harry and the Hendersons. Yeah. So he was great.
That's awesome.
So it was kind of I don't know that I discovered him. Probably I don't know if being on Dukes helped him at all, but I hope it did. Kevin's no longer with us. He's gone on to his reward. And I hope that that chance meeting at the men's store actually helped him for the rest of his life a bit. But writing and directing the show was really, really a lot of fun because, we all loved each other. So we all wanted to make each other look as good as possible. And I knew it was the last episode, but I really didn't believe it. I don't think anybody did. Why would you cancel a show that was in the top 20? Over 7 years, we averaged 28 million people a week.
Wow.
Watching the show. Nowadays somebody gets 3.5 million people watching a show every week. They throw a $1 million party. Yeah. So it was kind of beyond my belief that they really were serious about the show not coming back the next year. But guess what? It didn't. And I knew that was true because as soon as we were done, they took all of our sets out and they moved in West Wing.
So in 1997 and 2000, 2 Dukes of Hazzard reunion movies were made. How did those 2 come about?
I think the world just wanted more Dukes of Hazzard. Mm-hmm. So CBS found that there was a possibility for them to make some money. So did Warner Brothers. So they did the first reunion movie. But they didn't even give us a farmhouse anywhere. We used what was the back of Boss Hogg's house on the Warner Brothers lot. You only saw the back stairs. When I pull up in the Mitsubishi 300 or 3000, whatever that thing was. So they gave us a set about the size of 4 sheets of plywood because they didn't care.
They didn't save anything from Dukes.
No, they still had a couple of the cars in the transportation cool, but so they did that, and then that show did well, and then I don't know how many years, you might know how many years
I
later
think it
we
was
did the
3.
Dukes Go to. Is that all it was? Okay, so
Yeah.
we did the Dukes Go to Hollywood. Was Stella in that, or was she in the first? I think she was in the first one, Stella Stevens. So we did that movie, and it kind of got into creative arguments with everybody because, as written, it was more like the Beverly Hillbillies than the Dukes of Hazzard. So they had us coming to Hollywood and being really idiots, starting a fire into the Hollywood sign,
Oh,
and
jeez.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
dumb. So which we did, but Tom and I both said, look, we're not, we're looking for Enos. The conceit was we were trying to find Enos. So okay, well, let's build a fire. Let's make sure the audience knows we built the fire so that Enos would find us, not because we're stupid. We're not hillbillies. We're not. And I love the Beverly Hillbillies, but we were not a fish out of water when we went into the city. In fact, in Daisy's song, Waylon himself, no, Uncle Jesse says to us, now, boys, when you go into the city, I want you to make sure you don't take unfair advantage of those city folk because they don't know no better.
I remember
And
that line.
we had to keep up the banner, to keep up the legacy of what the Dukes of Hazzard really was, and we did. I think that show was pretty good. I mean, certainly wasn't the Ghost of General Lee or Carnival of Thrills, but it was good. It was watchable.
Yeah, it was
And then
very
we did.
entertaining.
Then Tom and I did the Auto Trader commercials, which was
Yes.
fantastic,
Yeah, that was
fantastic.
legendary
Yeah. So
commercial. I think they should still be
true.
playing it every day. I don't know
Well,
why
we
they
were going to
don't.
do more, but the world lost their mind about the flag.
Yeah. Oh boy. Which actually,
Yeah.
speaking of the world losing their minds, I think that could have started around 2005 and 2007 when they revisited the Dukes of Hazzard in the form of Jackass 2 and Jackass 3, aka the 2005 and 7 movies. What are
Oh
your
yeah, and
thoughts
having
on
Willie,
those?
it would have to be better to suck. Both of them. You mean you're talking about the ABC one,
The ones
the
with
prequel, and then the Johnny Knoxville,
yeah,
Sean
yep.
William Scott, Jessica, Willie. I'm glad Bert was in there. Bert was in there because he wanted to have somebody who really cared about the source material involved. So I love Bert. He was too thin to be Boss Hogg, though. I think John Goodman would have been a better choice. But God bless Burt Reynolds. He was there because he wanted to honor the Dukes of Hazzard. But they were terrible. They were irreverent. Both those shows. The one on ABC Family, which irreverent. The prequel was nothing at all like the Dukes of Hazzard. In fact, I went to the premiere of the Dukes of Hazzard, the movie, and both Johnny and Sean found me in the crowd, and the first thing they said was, "We're so sorry."
Huh.
They
Man.
apologized. Yeah, it was terrible. And
Yeah, it wasn't the
Willie
Dukes of
Nelson,
Hazzard.
Willie Nelson playing Boss Hogg. I'm sorry, Willie Nelson playing Uncle Jesse is a lecherous old drunk. Really, really aggravated me.
Yeah, that was not Uncle Jesse. That really, in my eyes, it
No.
was not the Dukes of Hazzard. It was a Saturday Night Live skit that made a feature film.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think Jeff Foxworthy's politically correct Dukes of Hazzard is better than that whole movie.
Oh man, that's I totally forgot about that with Larry the Cable Guy.
Oh,
And
it's
all that.
great.
Oh, that one's legendary. That was like the first
Mhm.
like side of like people making fun of it's woke. Then now we got woke. In 2015, the world went woke. Everything was crazy. Everything was racist. Dukes was taken off air by a bunch of whiny liberals. What are your
Exactly.
thoughts on, due to the controversy of the rebel flag? What was your reaction to them doing this, and what does the rebel flag mean to you personally?
Well, they're short-sighted. They are ignoring history. They are believing revisionist history. They call that the Confederate flag. It's not the Confederate flag. I mean, if you really want to get picky, it's the rebel flag. It's the St. Andrew's Cross. It's the Tennessee battle flag or Georgia. See, I'm gonna screw up there.
Yep.
Tennessee battle flag. And I could get into a whole dissertation about the misconception of the Civil War. As a recovering Yankee, I could get involved in all that, but it's nonsense. It's all so that they can push a divisive narrative, so that they can keep all of us who should be together wanting this to once again be the greatest country in the history of countries. They want to keep us divided because it's divide and conquer. It's pretty simple.
Mm-hmm.
I think that this last administration and the Obama administration, which is, this really is Obama's
This is
third
Obama
term.
too.
Yeah,
Or
Obama
Obama
too.
3.
They did more for division, for racial inequality. They have done exactly the opposite of what they claim to be doing, and I think they've done it on purpose. And shame on them. But the good news is that we're stronger than that. This country truly is stronger than that. Our belief system, our Constitution, our Bill of Rights, our Declaration of Independence, and our people are much stronger than that. And we have finally seen that they're full of shit. Yep. They've shown their true colors
time after time,
and they've done it out of desperation. Well, there's a lot of people now who are going, wait a minute, this just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
there can't be two kinds of justice, one for you and one for me. So I think no, especially not when you're talking about the border.
Yeah.
There is no border. So they're not just doing a bad job. They're not even doing a bad job. They're not allowing any job to be done. They are refusing us protection. The number one responsibility of the President of the United States is to protect the people of the United States, because it's a government by the people and for the people. It's not a people by the government and for the government. So this individual, you can't get after somebody for doing a bad job because they just aren't very good at it. That's not what's happening here. I believe that President Biden and Mayorkas are refusing to do their job. They're refusing protection, and that's wrong. And they have tied the hands of our wonderful Border Patrol agents who aren't allowed to do their job. And the liberal media is trying to make it look like the Border Patrol is overtaxed and they're not doing a very good job. Oh, bullshit! They're doing a great job. You're just not letting them do their job.
Exactly. You're putting in all these restrictions, and you're not allowing.
My God, they're trying to get. They're giving Governor Abbott a whole ration of shit. Pardon me speaking this way, but they're giving Governor Abbott a whole ration of shit because he's trying to protect his state. He's trying to do his job.
Yeah, he's doing what he can.
His number one responsibility as the governor of the state of Texas is to protect the people in the state of Texas. It's pretty simple. And if he does not, then he's in trouble. I love Governor Abbott.
I think he's awesome. I love him.
Yeah,
I love how
I think it's just great.
I love how he started sending the all the illegal immigrants.
Oh my God, to Nantucket.
Yeah.
To Nantucket.
Just put them on a bus, send them up there. If they won't let us send them back, we're going to send them to them.
You want to go to Sanctuary State, Sanctuary City? Go ahead. There you go.
See the White House?
Hey, yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
see the White House. Go to Pelosi's. Go to Pelosi's front yard. My friend, I've got to cut this off.
Hey, John, it's all good. I'm so thankful that you were willing to do this. Happy 45 years of the Dukes of Hazzard. Thank you very much for taking time out of your busy day to talk with me.
You are so very, very welcome. And I want to thank you, and I want to thank everybody who's watching this for keeping the Dukes of Hazzard in your world for all of these years. Some of you are probably as old as I am, and you've been watching the show your whole life. Some of you are 4, and I thank both of you equally. Let's keep this going for decades to come. It's good, wonderful, moral, important, integrous television. Yeehaw.
Yeehaw indeed. Thank you so much.
Yeehaw!
Yeehaw!
Thank you, my friend.
Hey, thank you. Stay rebel.
There we go.
There you go.
Thank you, buddy.
Stay rebel, man.
Just some good old boys. Never meaning no harm. It beats all you ever saw. Been in trouble with the law since the day they was born. They straightening them curves. They flattening them hills. Well, someday the mountain might get 'em, but the law never will.